My husband expected me to hand over my business to his brother as a wedding gift. It's for family, he said. I smiled and played along, right up until the ceremony. Then I dropped my own bombshell. My husband, Calvin, thought I'd just hand over my business to his brother as a wedding present. It's for family, he insisted. I played along right up until the ceremony, then I dropped a bomb of my own. The air in my bakery was rich with vanilla and melted butter, as I pulled a fresh batch of croissants from the oven. 6 years of early mornings, burned fingers, and tweaking recipes had transformed sweet success from a wild dream into the most beloved bakery in town. And now, Calvin wanted me to give it all up. I'm Samara, and until yesterday, I believed my marriage was perfect. Honey, it's a family tradition, Calvin said, leaning against my stainless steel workbench while I aggressively worked the dough. When a Richards gets married, everyone chips in to help them start their new life. Your sister got a car for her wedding, I shot back, flour dusting my arms. Your cousin got a down payment on a house. I'm being asked to surrender my entire livelihood. Ivan has always wanted to run his own place. I slammed the dough down harder than I meant to. Ivan has never worked a real day in his life. He doesn't know the first thing about running a bakery. He's my brother, Samara. He's family. The bell over the door jingled and my best friend Serena walked in, her heels clicking on the tile. One look at my face told her something was seriously wrong. What's going on? She asked, placing her purse on the counter. Calvin straightened his tie. Just discussing Ivan's wedding gift. I need to get to the office. He kissed my cheek, but I turned away. Think about it, honey. Family first, right? The second he left, I grabbed a mixing bowl and flung it into the sink. It shattered with a loud crash. Serena jumped. Okay, spill it. Now. He wants me to give Ivan my bakery, I said, my knuckles white as I gripped the counter's edge. As a wedding gift. He what? Serena's jaw dropped. Please tell me you're kidding. I wish I were. I snatched a rag and started wiping down the counter, needing to keep my hands busy. Apparently, it's a family tradition to help newlyweds get started. Never mind that I built this place from scratch, worked 2 jobs to save for the equipment, or nearly killed myself perfecting these recipes. What did you tell him? That I'd think about it, I said, tossing the rag aside and boxing up a customer's order. What else could I say? He's been obsessing over Ivan's wedding for months. You could say hell no, Serena suggested, grabbing a chocolate chip cookie from the display. This is your life's work, Sam. You can't just hand it over to someone who thinks baking is just dumping ingredients in a bowl and hoping for the best. The bell chimed again. Mrs. Peterson, one of my regulars, came in with her granddaughter. I forced a smile and gave them their usual. A dozen snickerdoodles and 2 blueberry muffins. Your cookies saved my bridge club meeting last week, Mrs. Peterson, she said, beaming. Everyone wanted your recipe. Family secret, I replied with a wink. As they left, the word family tasted bitter. Serena hopped onto the counter, ignoring my disapproving glance. So what are you going to do? I started prepping the display case for the next morning. I don't know. Calvin's right about one thing. Family is important. But this place, it's not just a business. It's a part of me. Then don't give it up. It's not that simple. I paused, an idea starting to form. Unless what? Serena leaned in, recognizing my scheming expression. Unless I agree to give it to him on my terms. I grabbed my phone and pulled up my business license documents. Calvin wants me to help Ivan start his new life? Fine. But first, let's see if dear brother-in-law can actually handle the responsibility. Serena's eyes widened. What are you planning? I smiled, already composing an email to my lawyer. I'm going to give Ivan exactly what he wants. And exactly what he deserves. Later that night, I told Calvin I'd do it. His face lit up like a Christmas tree as he hugged me tightly. You won't regret this, honey. Ivan will make you proud. I hugged him back, thinking about the conditions I'd already drafted with my lawyer. I'm sure he will, dear. I'm sure he will. Lying in bed that night, listening to Calvin's steady breathing, I thought about all the early mornings, the failed recipes, the burns, cuts, and tears that went into building my dream. If Ivan wanted my bakery, he'd have to prove he deserved it. And something told me that process would reveal exactly what kind of man my brother-in-law truly was. I smiled in the darkness. Sometimes the best revenge comes with a side of karma. You're doing what? Olivia's voice echoed through her elegant home office. My former mentor set her coffee cup down hard enough to make the desk rattle. Samara, have you lost your mind? I shifted in the leather chair across from her, glad I'd decided to confide in her before moving forward. Olivia had been my guide since culinary school, and her business acumen was sharper than my best bread knife. It's not as simple as just giving it away, I explained, pulling out the draft agreement I'd prepared. I have conditions. Conditions won't matter if you sign away your life's work to an incompetent fool. Olivia adjusted her reading glasses and scanned the document. Her expression softened slightly. Though this is interesting. I learned from the best. I managed a small smile. Remember when you told me never to sign anything without an escape clause? The doorbell rang, and Olivia's housekeeper announced that Ivan and Maggie had arrived for their appointment. I'd set up this meeting pretending to discuss wedding cake designs, but my real goal was very different. Send them in, Olivia called out, giving me a knowing look. Let's see what your brother-in-law is made of. Ivan strutted in like he owned the place, with Maggie trailing behind him, an apologetic smile on her face. She was sweet if a little naive, and I wondered if she knew what she was getting into. Samara. Ivan's enthusiasm felt forced. Calvin told me the good news. I can't wait to take sweet success to the next level. That's actually why I wanted to meet, I said, gesturing for them to sit. Since you'll be taking over, I thought we should discuss your vision for the bakery. Oh, totally. Ivan loosened his tie. I'm thinking we modernize everything. Get rid of all that homemade stuff and bring in pre-made bases. Way more efficient, you know? Plus, we can cut half the staff and save on labor costs. I watched Maggie's face fall. Olivia's pen scratched against her notepad. Pre-made bases? I kept my voice neutral. Our customers come for the authentic, from-scratch recipes. Trust me, nobody can tell the difference. Ivan waved dismissively. And we'll need to raise prices by at least 50%. This is prime real estate. We should be charging premium rates. Ivan, Maggie interrupted. I thought you said you loved Samara's traditional approach. Babe, this is business. He patted her hand condescendingly. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions to maximize profit. I pulled out another document. Speaking of business decisions, I have the transfer agreement here. Just a few conditions before you take over. Ivan's eyes narrowed. Conditions? Calvin didn't mention conditions. Nothing major, I assured him, sliding the paper across the desk. You'll need to complete a 3-month training period, learning every aspect of the business, pass a basic culinary certification, and maintain our current quality standards and staff for at least 1 year. That's ridiculous. Ivan stood up, his chair scraping against the hardwood floor. I don't need training to run a bakery. It's just following recipes. Then the certification should be no problem, Olivia interjected smoothly. Any competent business owner should understand their product. Don't you agree? Ivan's face reddened. This isn't what we agreed to, Calvin said. Calvin isn't the one giving away her business. I cut in, my voice still even. These are my terms. Take them or leave them. Maggie, let's go. Ivan grabbed his jacket. We'll discuss this with Calvin. After they left, Olivia turned to me, eyebrows raised. Well, that was illuminating. Did you see Maggie's face when he talked about cutting corners? I asked, gathering my papers. I don't think she had any idea. More importantly, Olivia leaned forward. Did you record all that like I suggested? I patted my phone. Every word. Good girl, she smiled approvingly. Now, about that certification requirement. I have a friend who runs the testing center. Should we schedule it for next week? Make it Monday, I said, standing up. The sooner Ivan shows his true colors, the better. As I drove home, my phone buzzed with a text from Maggie. Can we meet tomorrow? Alone? I smiled, thinking of her reaction to Ivan's revelations. Sometimes the best allies come from unexpected places. That evening, Calvin cornered me in the kitchen. Ivan says you're being unreasonable with all these conditions. Unreasonable. I stirred the pasta sauce with more force than necessary. Wanting the next owner to understand basic baking is unreasonable? You know what I mean, Samara. This isn't what we discussed. I turned to face him, wooden spoon pointed like a weapon. No, what we discussed was me giving away my business. These are my terms for doing so. Take them or leave them. Calvin's jaw clenched, but he said nothing more as he walked away. I checked my phone again. Maggie had suggested meeting at a cafe across town, far from any prying eyes. Perfect. The pieces were falling into place, and soon everyone would see exactly who they were asking me to hand my dream over to. The cafe was quiet when Maggie walked in. Her designer handbag clutched tightly against her chest like armor. I'd chosen a corner table, away from windows and curious ears. Thanks for meeting me, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Her engagement ring, a massive diamond, caught the light, seeming to weigh down her delicate hand. Of course. I pushed a cappuccino toward her. I ordered your usual. You remember my coffee order? I remember everyone's orders. It's part of running a successful business. Maggie winced at the word business. She opened her purse and pulled out a folder. I found these in Ivan's office last night. I wasn't snooping, I swear. I was looking for stamps and... She slid the folder across the table. Inside were bank statements, loan applications, and rejected credit cards. Red numbers jumped off every page. He's in debt, Maggie whispered. Serious debt. Gambling mostly. And there are letters from collection agencies. Does Calvin know? She shook her head. Ivan keeps telling everyone his investment business is booming. But these... She tapped the papers. These tell a different story. The cafe door chimed. We both jumped, but it was just Serena arriving right on cue, exactly as planned. Sorry I'm late, she announced, pulling up a chair. Traffic was horrible. Oh, are those the financial records? Maggie's eyes widened. You knew about this meeting? Samara and I don't keep secrets, Serena said, examining the documents. Especially not when someone's trying to steal her bakery. It's not stealing if I'm giving it away, I corrected, but my voice was bitter. Though now we know why Ivan's so interested in a profitable business with good cash flow. He's not a bad person, Maggie protested weakly. He's just struggling. Struggling people don't try to take advantage of their family, Serena countered. They ask for help. I was about to respond when my phone buzzed. A text from Calvin. Where are you? Ivan's at the bakery for his first training session. Damn it, I muttered. I need to go. Ivan's at the bakery. I'll come with you, Maggie said, standing quickly. I want to see how he handles this. The scene at the bakery was exactly what I'd expected. Ivan stood in my kitchen, wearing an expensive suit instead of the required apron and hairnet, arguing with my head baker, Maria. These processes are inefficient, he was saying as we walked in. We need to streamline everything, cut costs. These processes are what make our products special, Maria interrupted, her arms crossed. Every loaf of bread, every pastry is taking too long to make. Ivan's voice rose. Do you know how much money we're losing by making everything from scratch? About 60% less than we'd lose if our customers realized we'd switched to frozen dough, I said loudly. Ivan spun around, his face reddening when he saw Maggie beside me. What are you doing here? Supporting my future sister-in-law, she replied coolly. Shouldn't you be learning how to bake? Maria held out an apron. First lesson is bread basics. Everyone starts with bread. This is ridiculous. Ivan sputtered. I'm here to learn management, not play baker. Management starts with understanding the product, I said, moving to the workbench. You can't lead what you don't understand. I understand plenty. Ivan yanked off his suit jacket. I understand that this place could make triple the profit with half the effort if you weren't so stuck in your old-fashioned ways. Maggie flinched. I caught Maria's eye and nodded slightly. She pressed the record button on her phone, just visible in her apron pocket. Why don't you explain your vision for the bakery? I suggested innocently. In detail. Ivan launched into his plans, each word digging his grave deeper. Cutting staff using cheaper ingredients, raising prices while lowering quality. Maggie's face grew paler with each revelation. And the best part, he concluded triumphantly, is that we can sell off most of this expensive equipment. We won't need it once we switch to commercial suppliers. Interesting strategy, I said calmly. Would you mind writing all that down for the transfer agreement? Why bother? Once the business is mine. Once the business is yours, you'll still be bound by the quality standards clause, I reminded him. The one you agreed to yesterday. Ivan's smug expression faltered. Behind him, Maria's phone kept recording. We'll discuss this later. He snapped, grabbing his jacket. Maggie, let's go. Actually, Maggie said quietly, I think I'll stay and learn about bread making. It seems important. I watched Ivan storm out, then turned to Maggie. You okay? She nodded, picking up the apron Ivan had rejected. Teach me everything, please. As I showed Maggie how to knead dough, I caught Maria's eye again. She held up her phone and smiled. Another piece of evidence secured. Another step closer to exposing the truth. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people reveal themselves. You're getting married in 3 days? I said, watching Maggie pipe buttercream roses onto a practice cake. Shouldn't you be at a spa or something? We were alone in the bakery after hours, the streets outside dark and quiet. Over the past week, Maggie had thrown herself into learning everything about baking, staying late into the night. I should be a lot of things, she replied, her hand steady as she created another perfect rose. Excited. Happy. Not wondering if I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. The timer dinged and I pulled a tray of cookies from the oven. Having doubts is normal before a wedding. Is it normal to find out your fiancé has gambling debts larger than your annual salary? Or that he's planning to destroy someone else's dream to pay them off? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with an email notification. I nearly dropped the hot tray when I read it. What's wrong? Maggie asked, setting down her piping bag. Someone just tried to access my business accounts. I showed her the security alert, from Ivan's IP address. That's impossible. He's at his bachelor party. I pulled up the security camera feed on my laptop. Not anymore. The footage showed Ivan fumbling with the back door locked 10 minutes ago, finally getting it open with what looked like Calvin's spare key. He went straight to my office. He's still in there, I whispered. Call Serena. Tell her to bring the police. Samara, wait. But I was already moving my phone recording video as I crept down the dark hallway. The light from my office spilled into the corridor, along with the sound of frustrated typing. Come on, Ivan muttered. Where are the account passwords? I flipped on the hallway light. Looking for something, Ivan? He jumped so hard he knocked over my desk lamp. Samara. I needed to check some numbers for the transfer. At midnight? During your bachelor party. I kept recording as I stepped into the office. Using Calvin's key? Calvin knows I'm here. He lied smoothly. Ask him yourself. Okay. I pulled out my phone and dialed Calvin on speaker. Hey honey, Calvin answered, club music pounding in the background. Everything okay? Is Ivan with you? Yeah, Calvin paused. Actually, I don't see him. Hey, has anyone seen Ivan? I ended the call, staring at my brother-in-law. Want to try again? You don't understand. Ivan's voice turned desperate. I need access to those accounts. Just for a few days. I'll put everything back before the transfer. Before you steal my business, you mean? I stepped closer. How much do you owe, Ivan? 50,000? 100. 215,000, Maggie said from the doorway, making us both jump. Plus interest. Ivan's face contorted. You went through my private papers? Like you're going through Samara's? Maggie's voice cracked. The wedding's off, Ivan. I called your brother. The police are on their way. You can't do this to me. Ivan lunged for the computer, but I was faster. I yanked the power cord from the wall as Serena appeared behind Maggie. Police are 2 minutes out, Serena announced, holding up her phone. And I've got the whole thing on video. Again. Ivan looked like a cornered animal. Calvin won't let you do this. We're family. Family doesn't steal from family, I said quietly. And Calvin can't stop me from pressing charges. Blue and red lights flashed through the windows. Ivan made a break for the back door but crashed into 2 officers coming in that way. Ivan Matthews? One officer asked, though it wasn't really a question. We've had reports of breaking and entering attempted theft. I watched them lead Ivan away in handcuffs, reading him his rights. Maggie stood frozen in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I had no idea he was this desperate. Serena hugged her tightly. You did the right thing. My phone buzzed again. Calvin calling back. I let it go to voicemail. He'd find out soon enough. After giving statements to the police, we locked up the bakery. The night air was cool on my face as I watched Serena drive Maggie home. Need a ride? Serena called out her window. I shook my head. I think I'll walk. Clear my head. As I walked home, I drafted an email to my lawyer, attaching the night's videos. The transfer agreement was dead, but something told me the drama was far from over. My phone kept buzzing with messages from Calvin. Finally, I texted back, we need to talk. Not tonight. The wedding was in 3 days. Everything was falling apart, and somehow watching it crumble felt like watching justice unfold. One painful piece at a time. He made bail an hour ago, Olivia said, pouring more wine into my glass. We sat in her garden, the evening before what should have been Ivan's wedding day. Your lawyer called to warn me. Of course he did. I took a long sip. Let me guess, Calvin posted it? Family first. Olivia mimicked Calvin's tone perfectly. Speaking of your husband, have you talked to him yet? He's been sleeping in the guest room. I twisted my wedding ring absently. Says I betrayed the family by calling the police on Ivan. And you letting Ivan steal your business wouldn't have been a betrayal? My phone lit up with another message, this time from Ivan. You'll regret this tomorrow. Promise. Olivia read the text over my shoulder and snorted. Is that supposed to be a threat? He's desperate. I showed her another message from Maggie. The loan sharks are circling. They've already visited his apartment twice. Not your problem anymore. No, I agreed. But tomorrow's wedding, half the town will be there expecting a celebration. Instead, they're getting a scandal. Olivia leaned forward, her expression serious. Are you still planning to go? I have to. I'm catering, remember? I laughed bitterly. 500 cupcakes already paid for. Plus the wedding cake Maggie and I made together. About that. Olivia's eyes sparkled mischievously. I may have an idea. Before she could elaborate, my phone rang. Calvin's face appeared on the screen. I should take this, I sighed, stepping into the house. Hello. Where are you? Calvin demanded. We need to talk about tomorrow. I'm at Olivia's. Ivan wants to make things right, he said, his voice pleading. He's agreed to get help for his gambling. He'll pay back anything he tried to take. Just drop the charges and we can all move past this. Move past this. My voice rose. He broke into my business, tried to steal my accounts and threatened me and you.